Are your IRAs protected from creditors? Whew, it's a big one. So remember, IRAs are not falling under the ERISA Act. ERISA is 1974 Employee Retirement Income Security Act, which what it basically says is your 401k, TSP, 403b cannot be subject to creditors if you go bankruptcy or if you have some kind of lawsuit against you. And I'm not legal. I'm not an attorney, not providing any legal documentation, anything like that. So go seek proper legal counsel. But anyway, IRAs don't fall under ERISA, which means they are subject to creditors based on what your state law says, all right? So what we're going to do is going to look at this from Tax Advisor. It's a couple years old, but it still gives us a couple ideas here. And we're going to show the various states for which IRAs are subject to creditor, not creditor protection. We're just going to go over this. So I'm going to start with the state of Georgia. Here's my state where all the cool kids live. IRAs are exempt from creditors, all right? So they're protected other than distributions or IRAs are exempt only to the extent necessary to provide for the support of the debtor and any dependent. You hear that? So your IRA is exempt only for this amount right here. What it takes a court that deems that you need to provide for you and your family. Other than that, it's completely subject to creditors. California is the same thing. Not only does California not provide exemption for Roth, and neither does Georgia either, but California IRAs are exempt only to the extent necessary to provide for the support and judgment debtor when the judgment debtor retires and the support of spouses and dependents. Crazy. All right, so let's keep going here. E, the exemption is not applied to contributions made within 3 years of the judgment. Whoa. State of Maine, where all the cool kids were born, IRAs are exempt partly. They're exempt only to the sum of $15,000 to the extent reasonably necessary for the support of the dependent or any of the debtor. And Roth IRAs are not exempt at all. Maine's too busy getting rid of Columbus Day so they can make it Indigenous Peoples Day to make any common sense, obviously. Maine literally did that. It's freaking stupid, dude. How dare you have Columbus Day? I mean, my goodness, Columbus is only a man of all men, the legend of all legends. But hey, Maine, whatever, it makes you feel good. We're going to give a land acknowledgement. We are on the land of the Abenaki. Okay, all right, that's so freaking stupid. You can say anything about the Maine? Stop there. It's so dumb. That one's weird. IRAs are exempt from any claims of creditors other than claims by the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. I don't know what that's about, but it's weird. Massachusetts, the exemption does not apply to a court order for divorce. Most states, if it's a quadro, they're not. Those aren't exempt. Quadros is qualified divorce. I can't remember what it is. When you get divorced, you got to separate your IRA into 2 accounts, one for your spouse and one for you. Most states, those are not exempt from that, for sure. I bet all of them, frankly. But anyway, the exemption does not apply to a court order concerning divorce, separate maintenance or child support, or a court order requiring or requiring an individual convicted of a crime to satisfy a monetary penalty or to make restitution. So you get convicted, you're going to pay it out. Photo where Tampon Tim lives, exempt to a present value of $69,000 and additional amounts reasonably necessary to support the debtor, spouse, or dependents. Mississippi doesn't give you any creditor protection on Roth. Montana, no Roth protection. Nebraska, no Roth protection. Crazy, right? Yes, it is. The exempt is limited to $500,000 in Nevada. That's it, man. And a lot of Nevada rich people move from California to Nevada. They got more than $500,000. Exemption in Pennsylvania does not apply to amounts over $15,000. Wow. Well, right there. Or within 1 year before the debtor provides filed for bankruptcy. Man, crazy. Right here we got South Dakota. Certain exemptions up to $1 million. All right. We got, again, not exempt for quadros right there, and that's in Tennessee. We got Utah. The exemption does not apply to amounts contributed to benefits accrued on behalf of the debtor within 1 year. So you put something in there, and then next year you go bankrupt. That's not exempt, but everything else is. So you can see. Virginia, exempt from creditor process to the same extent permitted under federal bankruptcy law. Does that mean it could be? I don't know. Wyoming, exempt to the extent payments are made to the fund while solvent. That's just what you contributed. All right. So anyway, in Wisconsin, exemption does not apply to court order, child support, family maintenance, and other annulment, divorce, or legal separation. So there you go, man. So if you thought your IRA was protected, it's not, and that might be one of the reason you want to get a umbrella policy. Again, not an attorney. You do your own research. What I'm saying with the umbrella policy, though, is it gives you a second level of coverage above and beyond what your auto and homeowners gives you. All right, very, very cheap coverage. But again, I had a guy on my live stream the other day on my locals live stream. Mitch Box is right down there And you can subscribe down there in the Doobadook if you want. Every Wednesday, except we're not doing it tomorrow. I got to pick up my wife from the airport. But we go live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. just to talk schmack on each other. We're shooting the crap. It's fun. But anyway, my man Mitch Box is a 38-year-old litigation attorney. He goes, yeah, he's seen mostly you get sued to the extent of your insurance. But generally speaking, they're not going to come after you if there's no money. But if there's money, they could. They'd be the bad guys who come after you. You know, the creditors, the predators, we call it the creditors, predators, in-laws, and outlaws. Financial planning 101, we'd say we want an umbrella to the extent of your net worth. Well, just right here. So I got 2 kids. Well, I got 4 kids, but 2 teenage boys at home, 2 knucklehead dogs. I got a pool, lots of firearms. Theoretically, someone could sue me the bejesus out of me. And theoretically, they could take some money from me because I just showed you in Georgia, my IRA is not exempt. My Roth is not exempt at all. Finn! So who knows, man? So, look into getting an umbrella. I'm not going to tell you should do it. That's up to you. But look into it. Very cheap. I mean, I assume I got a $1 million umbrella, probably pay $500 a year, something like that. But, that's why it's so cheap, because this isn't likely to happen. But just think, you're also not likely to lose your house in a hurricane either. So that's why we have coverage. All right. God bless. Love your thoughts.